My name is Erica McFarland. I am currently the lead instructional librarian for Ivy Tech Community College, Indianapolis. I live in Greenwood, just south of Indianapolis. I enjoy making things and do all kinds of handcrafts. At the moment, I do mostly sewing and embroidery. In my role as instructional librarian, I have been responsible for many instructional products. I am working on my certificate in instructional design to improve my skills and elevate the library's instructional program as a whole. We do instructional presentations for our freshman composition courses. I have developed learning outcomes for these sessions, as well as presentation outlines and support materials. We have been doing student surveys as assessment. We also see if the students who attended the session were more successful than students who did not attend the sessions. I'm not sure if I've used any official instructional design theories when developing instruction. I've approached the issue more like a librarian. Librarians are taught to discover what a patron's information need is, discover what information is lacking. Once we know that, we can go about trying to fill that information need. So we define what knowledge is lacking through talking to the faculty and interactions with the students, then try to create instruction that will help address these needs. When my coworkers ask me what I am studying, I tell them that instructional design is teaching so that people will learn. Instructional design has its roots in psychology and educational psychology. As psychology began to study the acquisition of knowledge and skills, the instructional theories about how people learn began to expand. Instructional designers apply these theories in creating instruction and instructional products that help to make instruction not only more enjoyable and engaging, but also more effective. Instructional design relies on design models. There are several design models, but they all include the core processes of analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. In their article, Applying Learning Theories and Instruction Design Models for Effective Instruction, Khalil and Elkider address the fact that faculty in higher education are experts in their fields, but usually lack any formal training in education. These faculty members routinely design instructional materials, but lack that background in education, science of instruction, and design principles. Incorporating the expertise of an instructional designer into the planning and design of the instruction should improve the student's experience and learning outcomes. Backward design gets its name from the concept of starting with the end in mind. First, you need to define what the learner needs to be able to do or know, and most importantly, what major concepts can transfer to new situations. Once you know that, you can think about how you will know if the learner has accomplished those things. In other words, how will you assess the learning? Then you can start planning what is actually going to be taught and how that instruction will take place. The book Understanding by Design, Guide to Creating High-Quality Units emphasizes that this is not a rigid process, but a flexible platform to allow the designer to build an instruction plan mindfully. Understanding is one of the key concepts for backward design. In Module A of the book, the authors talk about the concept of understanding. When you teach for understanding, you're providing opportunities for the learner to practice applying skills, knowledge, and concepts in a meaningful way, with the end result being that the learner can transfer those understandings, concepts, and processes to new situations. Backwards design has 3 stages. Stage 1 is clarifying the desired results. These results should include being able to transfer learned information to new situations, being able to acquire new understandings, and being able to ask questions that will help the learner continue to apply the learned knowledge and skills. In Module B, the authors note that being able to ask and pursue important questions on one's own is the desired result, and that arguably the key to all genuine lifelong learning. Defining knowledge and skills to be acquired is also part of Stage 1. Stage 2 of backward design is determining the needed evidence. This includes assessing whether or not the students have acquired the understandings, questions, knowledge, and skills that were set as the desired result. First, criteria are defined, and then performance tasks are created to allow observation of fulfillment of these criteria. Collection of the evidence should take place over multiple points in multiple ways, not just in a single instance such as an exam. The evidence gathered needs to align with the learning goals from stage 1. Stage 3 is developing the learning plan. In this stage, the learning activities, experiences, and needed instruction are planned. According to Ray Pufel in her video, Backwards Design Theory, the planned activities are successful when the learners can transfer content to new situation. In Module B of Understanding by Design Guide, the authors state that one useful technique for developing understanding is to provide both examples and non-examples of a concept, principle, or process. In other words, how to do it and how not to do it. Also included in Step 3 are plans for pre-assessment, so that the starting point of the learner is understood, and methods for monitoring the progress of the learner through the learning activities. The planning in Stage 3 needs to correspond to the assessment from Stage 2 and the desired outcomes from Stage 1. The stages in backward design are not like rungs in a ladder that are climbed one after the other to reach the top. The designer can leap between stages, adjusting one thing or another until a cohesive product has been created. There are a couple of things that strike me personally in backward design. First is the importance of assessment. Working in an institution of higher education, we are always asked about assessment and to prove how we contribute to success, completion, and retention. Drawing these correlations has always been difficult for me. The process of assessment is also difficult, as librarians are not fully integrated into the classroom the way a faculty member is. Our current methods are not sufficient. It will be interesting to think about evaluation and assessment before planning the learning activities. The other striking thing is the concept of understanding. I've largely thought about what I do as teaching skill acquisition. In Module C, the authors of the textbook state that the best units do not focus on a fact or skill. They focus on using related facts and skills to achieve understanding. So while I may be teaching students skills to assess the credibility of information, what I really want them to understand is that misinformation and flat-out false information is everywhere. The student needs to be able to question the accuracy and credibility of information. In their article, Khalil and Al-Qaeda address the issue of higher education faculty not having education backgrounds, and that integrating instructional design practices should help. The article, Spreading Innovations into the Mainstream, discusses a program in the University System of Maryland where they did just that. They redesigned core undergraduate courses that had high rates of dropout or failure using backward design. The courses that were redesigned did have higher rates of success and completion. However, getting faculty to buy in was difficult. Instructional design and backward design have a place in higher education, especially in the age of online education. But getting these programs woven into the institutional fabric of an organization may prove to be a challenge.